Hi, welcome back to the House of Yoga. My name is Kavi, your host and founder. Today's episode is going to be all about what it's like teaching and doing yoga in the West versus the East. Now, as many of you may know, I've lived in multiple different countries, including India, as we are in right now, England, the Netherlands, Istanbul, and Spain. Today's episode, we're mainly going to be talking about England, the Netherlands, and India. Before we go ahead and talk about it all, I want to start in true yogi style once again with a meditation. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of pranayama. If you don't know what this means, it's breath work. So if you're listening to this, I want you to just take your hand. If you're watching this, you'll be able to see. So just take one of your hands and you're going to trace the outline of your thumb with one of your fingers on the other hand. And you're going to inhale as you do that. And then as you exhale, you go down the thumb with the finger. So we're going to inhale, go up the finger. Exhale, go down. And keep going throughout your whole hand. So inhale, we're on the middle finger now. Go up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, go up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, up. Exhale, go down. We're going to keep going. I really like this breathing technique called pranayama because it's very subtle. So you can do this whilst you're commuting or under the table. And we're going to try to really breathe into our belly as we do this. So go up your thumb, inhale. Exhale, go down. Inhale, trace your finger up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last time, inhale, up. And exhale down. And we're going to do one more round of this. You can try to do it at your own pace. I'm going to just be instructing by the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now you can just relax your hands and try to relax your body. Take a deep breath into your whole body. Inhale through your nose. And exhale, release. Just check in with yourself, how you're feeling right now. Maybe you're listening on the go. Maybe you're sat down listening. Just have that moment to check in. So you can open your eyes whenever you feel ready. Welcome back. Let's set an intention for today's episode. So how would you like to feel by the end of this episode? Is there any intention that you have? My intention for you is to understand what it's like teaching and doing yoga around the world, because there are differences. And whether you are a yoga teacher or a practitioner or someone just interested in cultural differences, I hope that this episode is going to be interesting for you, because I have a lot of interesting stories to share. We're going to start talking about timing. So if you are a yoga practitioner, or if you go to any kind of fitness class, you will know that when there's a timing for the class, you usually turn up on time. And in the Netherlands, this is even more important Dutch timing. You come a little bit before the class, quite a lot before, 15 to 10 minutes before, whether you're a teacher or practitioner. And coming in late, also in England, by more than 5 minutes, it's generally quite frowned upon, and sometimes they don't let you in. I remember me and my mum kind of got into a small car accident, and we really wanted to go to this yoga class in England. This was about 10 years ago, and the teacher wouldn't let us in. We were 5 minutes late. We really needed and wanted to go to that class. So we were really sad that we couldn't go. But yeah, she was like, nope, we've already done the first round of Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation. You can't join. Whereas in India, it's way more common for you to turn up late, to turn up 5, 10 minutes, even 15 minutes afterwards. And honestly, it's fine. It's not the best thing because you do miss the practice and you do interrupt other people's energy, especially if they're grounding at the start, right? But as a teacher, I personally allow it now because I really feel like if you're showing up to yoga, you need the class. There's a reason that you're coming, and I don't want to turn you away from that. So yes, it's not ideal, but it does happen. And things happen where we're late. Traffic, especially in this city, in Mumbai, which is where I live, it's always a thing. And yeah, we can't just have excuses for everything, but it's all right to just be a bit laid back sometimes. Now, let's talk about the actual class. For the majority of my teaching career, I've lived in the Netherlands, 3 years in the Netherlands, half a year in Istanbul, around a year in England, and now the last 2 in India, in Mumbai specifically. As a teacher, I experienced some weird things in the Netherlands, which was interesting because I was studying cultural anthropology at university. And if you don't know what this is, it's the observation of different cultures in many, many levels. It's always the hardest degree to explain to people. But it gave me a lot of insight about how different cultures operate and different social norms and why we kind of behave the way we do without looking at it on a psychological level. Anyway, so it's made me much more observational. And also, I think it's part of the reason that I'm so curious about different cultures and living around the world. Now, in the Netherlands, when I first started teaching, I had just come from training here in Rishikesh and teaching in the traditional way, which is there is a good chunk of the practice doing pranayam, doing your breathing practice. Why? Because it's the foundation of yoga. If you don't know how to breathe and you don't know how to control your breath, actually doing your yoga practice, the asana, the physical practice, there's a level of depth that is missed out on. So I have even seen gurus just not even allow their students to do the physical practice until they have mastered their pranayam. Now in the Netherlands, I was teaching 10 to 15 minutes of pranayam and meditation, and I got the feedback from a couple of people and my manager that it's too much. They're not coming there for the breathing, they're coming there for the physical practice. And again, I witnessed that in another big studio, big company in the Netherlands. They told me, okay, we're not doing in our yoga classes. And I said, why? They said, well, we want to take people out of their comfort zone, but only 5 to 10%. And I think this just shocked me. I mean, I am British Indian, but still Indian and still very proud of the practice of yoga and everything that it means, every aspect of it, regardless if I'm Indian or not. What it sounded like to me is, okay, so you're happy to take a practice, but culturally appropriate it and take only what you like from it. So I really did not like that. And on reflection, I would never teach for a studio like that again. Yes, there's money involved, exposure involved, but it doesn't truly align with my values anymore. Because Oming, it is kind of seen somewhat related to religion. And yes, Hinduism does have a lot of the Om sound in it, but in the yoga practice, we're not doing it as a religious chant. It is the first sound of the universe. It is a universal sound. Every sound has this frequency, this sound of in it. So, and the effect of chanting is incredible for you, for the people around you, for animals. There's so much benefit of chanting Quick interruption with the story about that. My friend's cat was in her heat period, so incredibly restless, just the whole day, like honestly just like up against everything, and nothing would calm her down. We had researched everything to help her with her heat, and the only thing that helped was playing chants. And we played it all night, and this cat rested peacefully all night long. And that's the only thing that helped her until she was off her heat. So there is a lot of science, there is a lot of reason behind omming, and I really wish that that wouldn't be something that would be banned, because it's so good for you. That being said, there's still a focus internationally for people going to a 1-hour yoga class, for it to not be so much about meditation, pranayama, even here in Mumbai, which I do think is related to Mumbai being such a fast-paced city. People are coming for more of a movement-based practice. They really want to move their body. They want to strengthen their body or stretch their body. I do see a lot of people here really, really invested in also the meditation and the pranayama side. So I love that. But if you're going to a group class, chances are you are coming there a bit more for the movement versus the meditation. Of course, it depends on your intention, but that's just something I've observed. And I will share another story with you. In the Netherlands, again, I was teaching a power yoga class or covering for it. First of all, there's all these new names for all these styles of yoga. It's still traditionally yoga and yoga at its core. But this one was more based on your abdomen, your core, your strength. And again, spend the first 10, 15 minutes grounding everyone. And we just started doing a little bit of warming up before we'd go into this really strong, fiery yoga practice. And someone stood up and they left. And she told me it wasn't powerful enough for her. And that was the first time someone left my class. So my ego was a little bit bruised, I have to say. But I later understood that it just wasn't for her, and that's fine. I'm not expecting everybody to like my classes and connect with them, but it did frustrate me because I felt like she hadn't given it a chance for what it was going to be. And yeah, again, just misunderstanding the essence of yoga, which is a holistic thing. It's everything combined, not just the physical, which is commonly misperceived, I think, in the West, particularly if you haven't done yoga before. Then, in the same week, this is not making me sound like a good yoga teacher, I was in another class teaching, and another student left. And she left because she found it too crowded. The room was too crowded. It was a fully sold out class, around 20 people in there. And yes, it was a little bit cramped, but I was a bit confused why she was leaving. And that's another cultural difference, right, between India and the West, or the Netherlands and England, from my experience. Personal space. Here, it's not normal for you to stand in a queue and follow like a normal system. And you don't mind being really close to somebody else's mat. But yeah, in the Netherlands and England, privacy and like personal space is much more of a thing. That's what I've noticed. And it did frustrate me being British, like mainly growing up in England, being here and people being right up in my space. But it's not meant as a bad thing. It's just, again, a personal preference, an observation that I've noticed. So far we've discussed the timing of yoga classes, the actual yoga classes. And now I want to talk a bit about the setup for yoga classes, how it kind of works. So in the West, people really like going to group yoga classes. It's got such a good feeling. And of course, people like going here too. But particularly in Mumbai, what I've noticed is that people really like having private classes. if you are in a middle to upper class family, chances are you are going to have a cook, a cleaner, maybe even a driver. Some people even just have like a general maid to help them with their everyday life. So it's very service-based, this city, which is an amazing thing if you can afford it. So I think that's also why people really like having a private yoga teacher come to their house, come teach them. They don't need to leave anywhere and they can afford to do that service. Of course, there is demand for private yoga teachers in the West as well and online, but I've noticed that much more here, and I really enjoy working with people privately because there's a level of depth that you get to go into and really, really help somebody break through and change things in their lives, not only on the mat, but also off the mat. So that's something that I noticed, there's more of a demand in Mumbai specifically for private classes. And this is just a random one. I feel like Instagram is used as a search platform. Around the world now is being used as well. But especially in Mumbai, having Instagram, having social media is just so integral to building your own business. And honestly, being a yoga teacher in the city, it's helped me so much. Like, I came to the city not knowing anyone, fully doing everything on my own. And I did have a distant cousin who was helping me out a little bit, but for the most part, Instagram really, really helped me to build the community and the platform that I have now. And for that, I'm so, so grateful. Whereas I think that in England, it didn't really help me per se to get clients. And if you run like meta ads, it wasn't really helpful. Whereas here, super helpful. Within a week, I had like 50 calls and inquiries for me to teach. So yeah, there's a lot of different cultural differences from not only teaching, but practicing yoga. If you have any specific questions related to what it's like in either of these countries, I can try to give you answers for England, India, and the Netherlands. Do let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. And that's it for today's episode. The only thing we are going to do to close is, again, a small meditation. So you can bring your hands in front of your heart and you can close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And just observe how you're feeling right now. Having listened to this episode, was there anything that you learned or found interesting? And now, as you head on to the rest of your day, do you have an intention for the rest of your day? Maybe it's to have fun, to enjoy, to smile more. Maybe it's to rest and relax. And I want you to think of one thing that you feel grateful for in this moment. I feel super, super grateful for you guys listening to this podcast and supporting me. So far, there's been so much support, and I knew that this was something I wanted to do and that I would do well, but it's just been so amazing to witness how much love is around me and that it really feels like I'm doing the right thing. So thank you so much for your support, and I will see you on the next episode. Namaste.